And there's one other thing. The stream. There's one other thing that was in that stream that might have done it too. I'll let you know.
I couldn't believe it.
How you doing, sir?
Okay, we're going to start the meeting, and we'll start with the pledge, and this young man is going to lead us. So you start us in the pledge. Nice and loud, nice and loud.
Allegiance to the flag
of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
That's good. If we could remain standing for a moment. We had two residents in the last couple of weeks that I know of, Catherine Morrissey and Alton Ward. We could remember them. We remember our armed forces. Thank you. Ned, there's a seat up here. I'm sorry. That's all right. Public comment on the agenda items? Okay, if I could have a motion to approve the minutes that were taken at the last meeting, which was the 17th of September? Yes.
I'd like to note for the record an amendment to the meeting, the minutes, please. I also obtained information from the Environmental Protection Agency, Gina. If you could just please add that, it'd be greatly appreciated. The EPA. Okay.
Okay, so if I could have a motion to approve the minutes? Motion. That clarification, motion by trustee, excuse me. Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second? Second. Second by trustee Livesey, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, before I go on with the written agenda, I want to take care of a little bit of business. So, here. No, I think your partner's not here, right?
No, I don't think he's here.
That's okay. So, we had another drug arrest. And I know folks might laugh or whatever, that's okay. I'm going to sit up here and say, either leave town or we're going to drive you out of town. What'd we do with this guy?
Drove him out of town.
Drove him out of town. So, since April of 2017, if I'm correct me, Ken, 76 drug arrests.
Sorry, it's 80 now.
80.
This latest one is.
80 drug arrests. That's a year and a half. Not bad. Not bad. So, on September the 27th, 2018, around 9 o'clock in the evening, the Holland Falls police officer Frank Lillis and Richard Santiago, who's not here right now, were on patrol in the vicinity of 1530 State Route 9W. Observed was a vehicle traveling south at a speed of 70 miles per hour in a 55 mile per hour zone. After the traffic stop was conducted, the driver, Victor Shepard, age 38 of New York, was found to be in possession of 11 pounds, 7 ounces. That's 11 pounds, 7 ounces. That's what it looks like. Of marijuana. He was charged with criminal possession of marijuana in the first degree and speeding. At the time of this press release, he was awaiting arraignment at the Town of Highlands Court. Since then, what has happened?
$50,000 cash, or bond.
$50,000 cash bond.
1 county jail.
50,000 cash bond. 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 I thank you, Chief, for leading the effort. I thank the men and the women of the police department. Please convey that's the feelings of this board. We're very happy with everything that's going on. You, young man, thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay. Pass everything on to Sandra.
Thank you.
And if I might add, they will be receiving citations.
They should. That was a good one. Okay. Emmanuel? Okay, now here's a little, and it won't take long, here's a little personal story. Come over here. I see your parents and your brother in the
nephew.
audience. Your nephew. I held you when you were a baby. I held you when you were a baby. Now, I am not going to hold you tonight. But I did when you were a baby, and I've watched you. You're a fine young man.
Thanks, sir.
You're a fine young man. Now, you thank your parents. That's why you are what you are.
Yes, sir.
You're a fine young man. I'm so proud to have you as a friend. I got goosebumps. So, tonight, if we could do it, I think it's appropriate we do it now. If we could appoint this young man to be a member of the Hunt Falls Police Department. At this point, he'll be part-time, and hopefully he'll grow into full-time. That's his goal.
I'll make the motion.
Motion by trustee Lindsay, seconded by trustee Murphy. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. May I have roll call, please?
I'm new. Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Welcome.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you so much. Oh, Chief, I forgot. Here's his badge. This is an important part, not the other side. There you
Thank
go.
you, sir.
There's your badge.
Thank you.
That's your first badge. Be a good police officer here in the Village of Hunt
Yes,
Falls.
sir.
And stay forever. All right?
Yes, sir.
All right, next on the agenda is I am looking for an authorization to sign a revised contract with Roundout Consulting, who's doing the One Government study, to complete the remaining steps to provide a full municipal reorganization study. They call it reorganization study and plan. Okay, Jim.
I'd like to table this. I have some questions that I think I would like to discuss with the board and the attorney about this new agreement. And we could do this at the next meeting.
Absolutely. Have a motion to table? I'm not sure if I need
Motion to
that.
table.
Second? Anybody want to second that? I'm not sure if I need a motion to table it, but we'll do it.
I'll second it, so we'll make sure that we're all,
We kind of just got it, so.
yeah.
Okay, so I have a motion to table this Roundout Consulting agreement till the next meeting, which it will be on the agenda next meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Trustee Ramos, if you would just send me your questions that you might have on
Sure.
this.
All right. Authorize the mayor to sign an annual civil rights certification with HUD and the Section 8 program. You have that before you. It's an annual formality.
Motion to authorize you to sign it.
Motion by trustee Murphy, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Howard, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
I just have one question.
Sure.
So- At least some of us didn't read it, so when we read it, can we call if we have any questions? Call you? Okay.
Sure. Which, you're talking about the civil rights certification or the roundout?
Round out.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah,
you can.
Okay.
absolutely. All right, next on the agenda is a letter from Central Hudson, which we had just received today. It was later today, actually. and I'm asking for this to be tabled. I'm not happy, it's been reported that I'm not happy with Central Hudson and what they leave behind does not serve this village well. And right now, as we talk, Main Street's loaded with cutouts where folks have to walk out into the road. They were supposed to be here last week with concrete, and here it is Monday night, and they're still not fixed. Again, people are walking out in the road, and it's dangerous. It's very dangerous. So I would ask for this letter to be tabled. Plus, I want to talk to the Highway Superintendent, John Jones, about this.
I'd agree with that.
Okay, thank you. I made the motion and Merv seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request for the farmer's market to store items in municipal lot number 2 until the final market date, which is October the 28th. So they have a month to go. And if you were there yesterday, it's bales of hay. Maybe it's 6 bales of hay, where they have it all decorated very nice, and you bring the kids or adults can have their picture taken by it. They sit on the bales of hay. It's free of charge, taken with cell phones. So if we could allow them just to store, they're going to store the bales of hay on the grass embankment, kind of like where the hot dog guy is.
Yeah, it is.
Okay? A little further to the north. Not much, a little. We can have a motion to allow the storage of the bales of hay for the farmer's market.
So moved.
Motion by trustee Ramus. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Murphy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Request for training for the account clerk Barbara Mellon to attend the New York State Employment Education Seminar for the New York State Retirement System. It's in Ulster County on the 11th of October from 9 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. There's no cost for the seminar. She is entitled to mileage reimbursement.
I make a motion to accept.
Motion by trustee Howard. Is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by trustee Livesey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, a letter of resignation addressed to Chief Scott. I'd like to inform you that I will be resigning from my position as a part-time dispatcher in the Village of Highland Falls Police Department. I would like to thank you for the opportunity to serve the community and jumpstart my career in law enforcement. It was a pleasure working for you and with all the other members of the department. Thank you, Brendan Hill.
Motion to accept Officer Hill's letter of resignation.
Second.
Motion by trustee Murphy, second by trustee Howard, to accept Brendan Hill's resignation. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Request we have surplus equipment. 1999 Sterling sweeper body out of the Highway Department, and a 1999 Johnson Perkins auxiliary engine. These items have been purchased, used for parts. So we need permission to have this stuff put in, to go up for surplus and see what kind of bids come in.
I'll make a motion on that.
Okay. Motion by trustee Livesey. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. All right, James I. O'Neill has an event form in for their homecoming parade, which will be on the 8th of October. It's going to start in Buffalo Soldiers Field, go to Memorial Park. No, I'm wrong. Buffalo Soldiers Field to Municipal Lot Number 2 across from Sacred Heart where the farmer's market is. 4 in the afternoon to 6:30. That's October the 8th, 4 in the afternoon.
Parade's at 5, Forge is recessed.
Yeah, and so please come down and on the sidewalks from their gate down to Sacred Heart and support.
Haven't they gone all the way
O'Neill.
through Main Street before?
They used to go to Memorial Park.
What happened with that?
I don't know.
There's a pep rally in the parking lot afterwards, so it's just better for containing the kids.
Okay.
May I ask a bit? Mary Jane, are you heading this up?
I am not, I am just answering questions on their behalf tonight because they couldn't be here. I'm too old for that.
Did a great job.
Okay, we have the insurance attached.
Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Lizzy to allow the event,
Second.
second by trustee Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Next, we have a request form, event form in. Grand opening of the Bear Mountain Bakery this Saturday, October the 6th at 9 to noon. You have that before you. I do see we have the owners of the bakery here. Either Paul or Ed, I started this a month ago, having new businesses come, and when I'm done with the new businesses, I'm going to start with, go right down Main Street and have each business come at certain meetings and promote their business. It's extremely important that I believe the village board, do everything we can to promote Main Street. It needs to be done. So, I would like you to get up, one of you, both of you, introduce yourselves, tell us about your bakery, but at the same time, tell us about your grand opening.
Sure. My name is Paul Walker. I live in the the village of Highland Falls, and this is
Hi there, I'm Eddie Major, class of 2007 from West Point, and I've been living in Highland Falls for the last 3 years.
And the bakery that we're bringing to town, or excuse me, to the
It's
village,
okay,
to town.
it's okay. Don't worry about that. Don't worry
I've been
about
here for 50 years, say the same thing.
it. It is a town.
The village is part of the town.
Go ahead.
But we just really wanted to be part of the community. We really care about not just the business, but the community that it's in. And so because of that, we want to do a very large grand opening that will bring attention not only to the bakery, but to the village. And so what we have proposed is to shut the part of Main Street down between the old general store there and the library, and to put on some live music, to bring in some play areas, to bring in some face painters, to hand out free samples, but to make a big deal out of the opening. And in that way, bring in people to also see what else the village has to offer. And also in coordination with the chamber and other members, we're inviting any other business in the village and in the town. And whether that be profit or nonprofit, we'd love to have the center come and places like that to come and promote themselves while we're having our grand opening as well. And we think this would be a huge benefit both to us and to the village. So that's our proposal. You see the details of.
So we are very excited to be part of the community, to work with everyone here, to partner with you all. We are here because we see the great potential here in Highland Falls, and we want to be part of it. We look forward to being part of this community, being active members in it, and helping to support. We're thankful for this opportunity to be able to be here, to present before you, and as Paul said, we are looking at doing something extra special. We look to bring a different kind of establishment to Highland Falls, and we care about customer service, and we want to be bringing people in that are interested in doing things here in Highland Falls. So that's why we're looking for something as big as what we are doing, but we like to think big, and we like to think big with Highland Falls. So thanks for the opportunity to shop local and to be here with you.
Let me ask a question. Have you talked to the other businesses in the area?
Yes, we've talked to all the businesses that we can get a hold of who would be impacted by that part of the street. We've talked to both hardware stores, we talked to Keller Williams, we talked to some of the other businesses, and they're all for it. Nobody has any issues. And we didn't talk to the library because I don't think it affects their hours. Nobody had an issue with it when we spoke with them.
There will still be access to the parking lot in the
Yeah.
library?
Yes, to the library's parking lot.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Okay, now, let's get to, for me, the important part. Give us a sample, not samples, you've been giving samples away for 2 months.
Good product.
Give us a taste of your menu.
Sure.
On the microphone, though.
Yes, indeed. So we are looking at doing both sweet and savory. So we're looking at also doing breakfast and lunch. Our hours are going to be from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. So if you're thinking about a morning coffee on your way to work or picking up something sweet on the way home, we're looking to be able to serve you in both ways. In terms of what we're actually offering, we'll be doing breakfast sandwiches, cinnamon buns, crumb cake, things like that on the breakfast side. And also cookies, cakes, cupcakes, brownies, things like that for our traditional sweets. With lunch, I'll be having sandwiches, salads, soups, some smoothies as we move on. And for the healthier crowd out there, I'll also doing quinoa bowls and things like that.
Are you both graduated from West Point?
That's right. Both of us.
2007?
Yes, indeed. So Paul and I have known each other a long way. Back through West Point, we also went to sapper school together, one of the tougher schools in the Army. We have both literally and figuratively carried each other on each other's backs through many hard times.
So I see you have here, it says, number of animals you have. Is that a bear? Do you have a bear?
They're
Bear
around.
feeding is still illegal in the state of New York, but we actually got a pony. Is that correct?
We were unable to get it for this. We were initially, Morgan Farms was going to come out and support it, but it ended up being a bad weekend for him.
We could get you a bear.
If you bring us the bear, we will feed
Very
it.
small.
We will feed it.
Please don't feed the bear.
Thanks,
Stony
guys.
Bear was unavailable for comment.
I have a bear in my front yard probably every third night, so we can always bring him down.
No selfies with it.
That's right. Yes, indeed.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
We don't do the baking, so it's safe. No, we have a lady by the name of, she goes by the name of Maudie Lamboy, and she is the head baker that we have.
I'm not kidding. Absolutely.
Ned?
And she has an extensive bakery experience. She has run her own catering business, and before that, she's worked for a couple different bakeries.
Including managing.
Charlie?
Yeah, do you have permission already to do boodle packages to West Point?
Yes, ma'am. We have already gotten permission from West Point to be doing that. So we're looking forward to be partnering with them on that.
And the shop looks beautiful, I like what you've done.
Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, guys. Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you, ma'am. Appreciate it.
So, if I could have a motion, you see insurance is there, if I could have a motion to approve the event?
Just one thing I want to say is, no bouncy house, right? Go ahead.
Sure.
So we have some inflatable play areas. It is not a bouncy house. One is a slide for smaller kids, and then they have what is like an inflatable maze where people can go through it. But it's not an actual bouncy house, if that makes sense.
Okay.
Right. It's not going and jumping in.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. And they do bring their own insurance and their own employees, so it's not a unmanaged thing. They have their own employees that they bring to.
But it's not a closed-in.
It's not a closed-in bouncy place.
Thank you.
We did it.
Did we do the motion? May I have a motion to approve the event that's before you?
I'll make the motion, we approve it.
Is there a second?
I'll second it, and Gina, you'll call.
Yeah. I will.
Okay.
No, I promise you.
Okay.
We have a motion by trustee Murphy and second, you second.
Yep.
Trustee Livesey. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
The what?
The live entertainment permit? Thank you. Where is it? Okay, so you have a live entertainment permit on page 2. It would have to be approved. You have a band? Sorry.
To call it a band is probably overstating it a little bit. The Baker's sister and brother-in-law are going to come. He plays the guitar and she sings, and they're-
Oh, that's nice.
They sing it. So it's not going to rock the neighborhood or anything like that. But we will have live music.
Will it be on your premises or in the?
What we'd like to do is, and I'm not sure if you got a copy of our schematic or not.
No.
But what it would be, the intersection right next to the bakery, right between Village Hall and the bakery itself, right there. We'd like to put up kind of a little stage right there.
The only thing with that is just, I'm just thinking of the emergency route,
Well, what I'm going to, is the chief still there?
because that's a pretty
Chief,
common.
would you, Chief, tomorrow's Tuesday, so would you see these two young men and go over the day's event and what roads and make preparations with the highway department, but also emergency services? All right? Work all that out like we always do, but work it, make sure it's worked out. Okay? No, I don't think so, Paul, but can we approve the live entertainment permit?
It says the 15th.
It's a guitar and a singer, I'll make a motion.
Is there anyone from the fire department, Gina, over there? There is?
There's gonna be baker's spoons on a pot.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
There he is.
If I may say one thing, one thing we didn't mention is we are giving out free coffee for a year for the first 10 customers. So we're hoping to really build some excitement for that.
we will, the village will allow camping out the night before?
That's part of our request is at dusk,
You can start
allowing
to-
someone to start camping out the night before. And we've talked to some news agencies and they're interested in coming if we do get some people that start camping out. So we're hoping to build some excitement through that.
For a year.
So free coffee for a year, yes ma'am.
But you only have to show up
So-
once.
All right, guys, you're gonna set the bar for grand openings, because normally we do a ribbon.
We hope so.
Yeah, a
We
ribbon.
hope so. The ribbon will be there.
The ribbon will be there, yeah, but you're setting the bar a little higher. Thank you. Thank you. And thanks, you know what else, to both of you, thanks for believing in Holland Falls. It doesn't mean everyone does. You guys are a breath of fresh air. I mean that. We've talked a lot. We've talked a lot. You guys have so much information and ideas and suggestions to give me that I love it. I love it. And Paul has helped me with other grants. And I appreciate all the time that you have spent right in the middle of your wife giving birth to your fourth child. So the time you have spent for the village, I appreciate. I just want to say that. Thank you. So we have a motion for the live entertainment fee, which is $50. Your wishes, and we'll move on.
Do you have to get a second on it, or are we all done?
No, I haven't, you made a motion.
Right.
I need a second on Merv's motion to accept, to approve the entertainment fee.
I will second that.
Second by trustee Ramus. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.
Come on up,
Ah, good. It's heavy. It's nice. No. Come over here. Okay, so, was it last week? 22nd of September? The 103rd Orange County Volunteer Firemen's Association Convention and Parade. It's a big thing. 40 to 50 departments, all from Orange County. As a 38-year member of the fire department, knowing what you guys do, I am so proud. I am so proud. First place, engine, and all the trucks that were there, had to be 200 trucks.
And it's 17 years old.
And our truck is 17 years old. Well, you come back at budget time, buddy. Not now. First place engine. I mean, that's Charlie's in the department. That's a feat worth acknowledging. Kenny, Chief, thank you. Kenny, I'm not sure what to say about you. Every time I see the fire truck racing to a fire, you're driving it. And I don't want to tell people how old you are, but we're lucky to have you.
Still young.
We're still young. You look great. You don't age. It's amazing. But thank you. You were driving it that day, right? Thanks, guys. Thank you. Good stuff. You know, you have on the side of the door, Chief, Pride of the Highlands.
Absolutely.
Pride of the Highlands. And that's the way we feel tonight. Pride of the Highlands. Thank you. Okay, next on the agenda, we have a resolution for vehicle and traffic for a handicap spot on Drew Avenue.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
May I? So this is actually an amendment to the law? Is that what this is doing?
An amendment?
It looks, it's written as
No.
if it's an amendment to the local law. vehicle
No,
traffic.
it should read to allow a handicap spot in this particular area that was measured off, and it indicates the measurements.
Okay, but it says that that something is being added to section 10871.
Chief? Yes. I'm sorry. It's an amendment.
All right,
So we're doing an amendment to allow a handicap parking spot.
you're doing an amendment to a local law, which has to be done by local law. Can't be done by resolution. So my suggestion is that you introduce this tonight as
All
a
right.
local law, set a public hearing for the next meeting, and I'll draft it in form for local law and give it to Regina.
Okay.
And furthermore, if the board would like the traffic and vehicle law maybe to be modified so that you can do this sort of thing by resolution.
Yeah, that's the way we've done it. But we have something else here.
First line in the resolution.
I'm sorry, I can't hear.
The first whereas,
So it is, so within the local law, it allows this to be done by resolution.
yes, we've done this.
Okay,
Yeah,
never
this is,
mind.
no, that's fine.
Okay,
We
never
have
mind.
done it, but that doesn't mean we were doing it
Well,
correctly.
it's, all right, it looks, the way it's written, it looks as if you're actually amending the section itself.
Would you
But-
suggest, maybe not tonight, but would you suggest to us the change of the wording that might allow,
Yeah, I trust the clerk, if in the local law it allows you to do this by resolution, go ahead and do it, and I'll just modify the resolution so it clarifies that,
okay.
okay?
Gina, you all right? Chief, you all right? Motion?
Motion.
Motion by trustee Howard, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Ramus. You okay?
I'm good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, next is what we started with in the beginning, the request to hire a part-time police officer, Emmanuel Vasquez. Hired at the rate that's in the contract, police contract, PBA contract, with a maximum probation. May I have a motion?
So moved. We did.
We did it, right?
Yeah, that's all done.
All right, well, would you include the salary per contract and maximum probation? Okay? Thank you. Public hearing, I'd like to open up the public hearing at this time on two addresses, 53 Villa Parkway and 28 Fostoria Street. Is there anyone here representing the owner or representing those two addresses, 53 Villa or 28 Fostoria?
I'm not representing 28, but I have represented him in the past. When he's in the service in the Far East. You have the name on that, just so I'm certain. 28 Fostoria.
George is not in the Middle East. Okay. Let the record show there's no one here representing that either one of those properties. The resolution concerning the violations of 53 Villa and 28 Fostoria, both in Highland Falls, whereas the long-standing violations of Village Property Maintenance Law, Chapter 170 of the Village of Highland Falls Code has existed at each property listed above with the designated tax map numbers, whereas the property owner or owners have been given due notice of said violations and have been directed to correct the violations, and whereas the property owner or owners were given due notice of a public hearing to be held by the Board of Trustees on October 1, 2018 at 7 p.m. to determine whether the violations have been properly remedied and whether to order that corrective action be undertaken by the village to correct said violations at the property owner's cost and expense, to bill said cost and expense to the property owner, and to levy same against the property. And whereas a public hearing was duly held by the Board of Trustees on October 1, 2018, and whereas the owner or owners did not appear, and whereas the owner or owners have not taken steps to correct the violations, and the violations still exist, and whereas the Board of Trustees is authorized pursuant to Section 170-2 of the Property Maintenance Law to authorize that the village undertake to remedy such violations at the property owner's cost and expense. Now therefore, be it resolved that the village, its contractors, or agents shall enter upon the property to correct the violations, and that all costs incurred by the village, including administrative, legal, corrective costs, be charged to the property owner, and such charge shall be added to the tax bill of the property owner if not paid within 30 days of notification to the last known address of the property owner as shown on the village tax records. May I have a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Motion by trustee Livesey, is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Murphy. May I have roll call?
Aye.
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 Aye, motion carried. So, to continue what we've done in the past, we always have these property maintenance properties on our agenda, and that's good. We're cleaning up the village, I'd like to think. But I also want to point out, just like tonight's every meeting, we're going to do as much positive stuff as we can. We know there's negative out there. Positive. Benny Haven's looks good from outside here on Main Street. This house here is over at Rowe Park. This is over at Rowe Park. This is on Main Street, South Main Street. And this is in Satterley Road. These are how people should keep their properties up. There might not be flowers. There might not be awnings and everything else that make a place nice. But you don't need all that. You just have to maintain your property. Maintain your property. Maintain your property. So I want to thank these folks right here.
And if I could, Mr. Mayor, so I got these pictures and I got some other ones, and some of the residents came out and was wondering what I was doing. I apologize to the one person. I told him his would be up there, but it didn't come out that good. So
Next time.
it will be in next time.
Mr. Mayor and Board, I did send out a proposed property maintenance law for you guys to look at.
We have
Maybe
it here.
put it on the agenda for the next meeting.
Correct. Thank you. The gist of it is,
To strengthen the enforcement and violations.
good.
And boost the fines, right?
Well, yes, in a sense. Your fines are really quite, you know, they're already pretty high. It's just that you have to go to court. And you would have to do that anyway.
Right.
So I've added a couple of procedures that would essentially direct the building inspector to issue an appearance ticket for Justice Court upon the third violation within any 12-month rolling period. So you guys can take a look at that, and it has a hefty fine.
Good. That's what it
May
should
I
be.
ask a question, please? I'm going through the building department down in Westchester right now. They have very hefty fees for everything. And if they go back after the first fee, there is a per visit fee attached. Is that something we could do without going to justice court?
Well, remember, we did modify the law so that you can have a schedule of fees. So that's something that you can add by resolution if you want to increase your fees that way.
Without going to justice court?
Yes.
Well, I'd really like to have the board to have a meeting on this, and the reason why is I'm going to bring up something in my report to add all of this together, but I'll do my report and then you'll know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, we can do that. Okay, I have bills and claims for fiscal year 2018-2019, $128,160.70. I know the bills were reviewed downstairs by the board. May I have a motion?
Yes, you may. Motion to pay all bills.
Second.
Motion by trustee Murphy, seconded by trustee Howard. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay. I have an interview on October the 11th for a grant for $50,000 to help pay the engineering fees for the $500,000 grant that we have to take paint off some buildings on Main Street, which does not include engineering fees. So it was important to go after a grant, and I will report back to the findings of the requests from the village to hopefully get this grant. I would like to know a big topic item, I guess, cell tower. What is the board's wishes on a cell tower? Meaning we either move ahead with meeting or we put it to bed and not bring it up.
Move ahead.
I need a majority.
I would feel the same because there's a couple, I think we should just continue to keep looking into
Okay.
this right now.
Yeah, I feel very strongly when I had a brain bleed right in this very spot. Mary Jane had to go downstairs to use a hard wire because of lack of...
And also, there's a lot of problems with the cell phones when you call on 911. You're going to go across the river.
Yep.
And that's a problem.
Okay, so on that short note, I will continue, and the next step, I think, is to have a meeting with the cell tower folks and the board. We'll take it from there. Okay. So, here's some quick things. I'll do the best I can, and we'll move on. I want to, and the board would like to congratulate James I. O'Neill football team with their record so far, and the Army football team. They cease to amaze me. I couldn't be more happy with both of these football teams. So please come out and support them in their homecoming parade on the 8th of October. You think the parade will kick off at what time, Mary Jane? 5 p.m. It'll start down Main Street. So come on out and wave and make a sign and blow your car horn and whatever you would like to do. But let's show our support to them. I want to praise Janet Dutt, Renata Farmer, and Susan Wicks. Look at Memorial Park tomorrow when the sun comes out, I hope. It's beautiful, decorated for Halloween. It's actually the best for me I've ever seen the gazebo decorated. So I want to thank again Janet Dutt, Renata Farmer, and Susan Wicks. A Christmas lighting ceremony is being planned, and we will be back with the public as to the date and what will take place. And so we're going to start a new Facebook page. I've been inquiring with West Point to see what pages, what type of media they have up there that will allow, this actually came from some businesses that want to advertise. And what I'm told is there isn't. They have social media, but not for businesses to maybe put a special on, maybe put their menu on. So while it's not really original, up there they have one of their sites called Living on West Point. Isn't that correct? And then I see I'm hooked to Living in Cornwall. So we're going to do a Living in Highland Falls. It's going to have 2 administrators. And it'll be used for school events, fundraisers, community events. You have a living room, some living room furniture you want to sell. You have a home you want to sell. And if you have a business, which was the reason for doing this, you have a business, you can advertise at no cost, whatever it is you like to advertise, whether it's a special or it's your whole menu. But everything will be approved by the 2 administrators, and totally positive. Not 1 ounce of anything that's negative. There's enough websites that we all know about, especially locally, that can handle all the negative about our community. We don't need another one. So more to come on that, but that'll happen soon. Again, we have to do as much as we can to help these businesses on Main Street. The bids are out for the North End sidewalks. We open up the bids Friday. Gina? Friday at 2 o'clock. It's great. Roe Park grass was cut, and they cut it the day after, or maybe even during the rain. And there's a lot of ruts. It's pretty bad. So I know the grass will grow back, but the dirt won't grow. So we have the highway superintendent contacting the contractor. It also happened down here at Memorial Park, but not as bad as Roe Park. So I think there has to be some restitution there by the contractor. FEMA, the dollars for Havens Road, we've asked for an extension. We'll probably get it. I'll let you know. We did the fire department.
And the police.
And the police.
No, I have it.
And you have the police. Yoga for children, kids yoga. Across the street where the adults go, the new place in town. So they're going to have for kids. It's a 2-day classroom training. It starts on November the 17th and November the 18th, 10:30 in the morning to 6. And I will make copies of this. So I'll make copies of this and put it on the counter downstairs. Just feel free to walk in and pick up a flyer if you're interested for your kids to join up. they're really reaching out to the community. You know those guys across the street, right? They're really reaching out. That's what's exciting now. It isn't just someone opening up a store and we never see them, or, you know, it's exciting. Somebody believes in us. Trick or treat. So on October the 31st,
I'm not sure. But I have my house all decorated right now.
I see it. Okay, so we have this trunk or treat. It's kind of new, a few years old. Have you ever heard of it, Elise? Yeah, trunk or treat.
All municipalities are.
So it's a safe way to have your kids go trick-or-treating, and it'll be in the municipal lot across from Sacred Heart, and a lot of folks here know about it. But decorate your trunk. I guess you're supposed to load it up. You better have some candy in there, I guess. So it'll be on October the 31st, which is Halloween, and the times are 6 o'clock to 7:30. They would like to have your car in place by 5:45 to get ready. I'll make flyers of this too, so that'll be a second flyer downstairs.
And how long is that, Chief? Do you know?
There's usually a parade that starts from Memorial Park and then they march down Main Street.
Because I know it's later this year. Is that right?
Okay. A letter from West Point. So my two West Point friends here will definitely know this. What is a M777?
It's a type of howitzer.
Big?
Fairly big, yes.
Fairly big. Or a 155 millimeter. Is it millimeter?
Millimeter.
Yeah, what is that? Is that bigger?
It's actually the same size.
Same thing?
But it's
Okay.
a different, could be different model.
So they've never been utilized here in West Point. So they're going to do it at Lake Frederick. So they had to get special permission for this. I guess these things are pretty loud.
Yes.
Will we hear it here?
No more than what you hear from us.
Okay.
When are they planning on doing it?
And when are they planning on doing it? They want any comments, if we have any comments, pro or con, within 15 days of the 24th of September. So the 15 days are started.
Well, after hunting season would be nice.
I'll second that.
All right?
I second that.
Thank you.
You have a packet down there, small packet from Brian Goldberger. It's the off-the-record settlement proposal for the union. Please look at it. Brian, you have that?
Yes, indeed.
Okay. Okay. Chief, come up here just a little bit. So I want to congratulate you for applying and receiving a $10,000 grant was received from the Orange County Sheriff's Office for ALERT, Advanced Law Enforcement Rapid Response Training. Thank you. And a $55,900 grant, almost $56,000, applied for and received for 2 fixed license plate readers and 1 mobile license plate reader. Thank you very, very much. Those are things we need. The more we get with grant money, the better we are. Thank you. Thank you, sir. The battle site of Fort Montgomery will be hosting their 20th battle reenactment. You going down there?
I'm Civil War.
Civil War, sorry.
It's a big difference. Big difference.
This Saturday, October the 6th. But it's an all-day thing. There's different things going on. So it's their 20th year, so we want to promote the Fort Montgomery battle site.
Can they put signs up for the bakery?
Not signs up, but flyers.
Okay.
You want the police? Or
Yeah, whatever you want to do.
I'll do police and then go into comments. Is that what you want?
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. Police had 32 arrests, 69 summonses, and for our revenue, it was $3,049. I want to thank Vision for going to Lady Cliff Park, and we did the Halloween work. So, several of us, right? We did that? Yeah, several of us did. Ann Molina contacted the West Point Club, and they were hiring, so they came down to the center, and we opened up our doors from 10 to 7, and we had 13 people hired. One was a 14-year-old, and he came out and he said, I got a job. I said, yeah, I know. I said, it's great. I said, but you can't spend your money until you get it. He said, oh, okay, so it was good, it was good. But thank you, Ann, and thank you for the West Point. West Point is also going to be using a strong ski season. If they're going to be hiring people, they'll use the center, hire people. And then we're asking the human resources to come down and work with adults and some of our seniors about how to write a resume, what words to use when you're applying. So again, thank you. On behalf of the board members and volunteers, I want to thank everyone for coming out to the 4th anniversary celebration at the center. Thank you very much. Appreciate your support. And that's it.
Well, I'm going to echo on Brian here. I would really like to thank Ann Molina and all of the staff that's down there. I went down to the center, and I just couldn't believe how many people are involved with this, number one, with the center. And what a great thing it is for the community, for the children and the adults and everything else. It keeps them busy, and, you know, I think I know some of the history of how Ann started this, and it's just really unbelievable how this thing has just gotten so to the point where it is.
Yeah.
It's such a nice thing for the community, and thank you for everybody that's involved with it. That's a great thing. Now, there's many times at the board meetings, I always bring this up, and I'm going to bring it up, and the reason we were talking before about some of these property maintenance violations that are out there, I would really like to have the attorney at one of these meetings. We'll have a meeting. And there's been several times that I've mentioned about containers out in the village in different locations where there's not a time on that container. And again, I don't really think that's fair to the residents that are around that area. I think that there ought to be a time limit on the construction or whatever's going to happen. But if that container is going to go out there and it's going to be sort of an eyesore, I think there has to be a time. Now, I was actually shocked the other day. Another thing that's starting to happen in the community is there's a lot of people that are not getting containers, but they're throwing tons of garbage out. Okay, either they're cleaning something out, they're cleaning their basement out, or they're doing whatever they should be doing. And they're throwing a lot of garbage out on the sidewalks and on the roads. Now, just recently, somebody moved. And who's ever been up in this area, you're going to know what I'm talking about. They moved, and the new owners walked into, it's got to be a 30-yard container full of garbage on the side, on the road. It's on the road. You can't even get 2 cars going past it. Well, just for the information for the community, the town is not going to pick this up. Okay, the town will pick up garbage and a couple things that you may want to be thrown out, but they're not going to pick up a container full. So the people that just bought this home bought it. They bought the garbage too. And that's why I say that we really need to reinforce this a little bit, so it's just not permissible to do that. The other thing I want to bring up, and I brought this up before, and it's got nicknames called, and at least you're going to know this, mother-daughter's homes, illegal dwelling. These are all things that are going on with some of this illegal renting and housing that we have going on here. There's a lot more of it going on, and I really think as the village, this isn't really fair to taxes, rentals, parking. It's not fair to the schools. It's not fair to anything. And when you have this going on in the village in some of these homes, we really need to start tracking down on this and finding out where it is and do something about this. Another thing that I have here is, Mayor Joe, you brought this up a few times already, is and Mr. Copal, the sheds up at Roe Park. So I went up there last week and I looked at the old bathhouse. Now I'm just gonna throw something out there, okay? The bathhouse is made out of block, okay? Maybe perhaps, that could be extended a little bit. We could get somebody like Frank Fay or something to take a look at it. Extend that a little bit, and then for whatever time period of activities is going to take place in Roe Park, we only leave one shed. So then all the majority of it is going to stay inside the old bathhouse.
Not have a bathhouse there? Or
I don't think we need it. How many years have we gone without using it?
I don't disagree.
But we could recondition it.
I don't disagree,
storage.
and it's part of that grant.
Right,
Okay, so over the winter, I'm
right.
gonna write it down, but over the winter, we need to talk about the grant so we can get off and running come
Yeah.
spring. Not late spring, but spring.
Right,
On all the items that the grant was gonna cover,
yeah,
which is what, that is one of them.
yeah.
And decide over the winter, use it for storage, sink money into it for a bathroom, extend the block building for storage.
Right.
But we have to get, and I don't think you disagree, we have to get those sheds out.
And this will get the sheds out.
Yeah.
It will get them out, and I've spoken to Aaron about this. He doesn't have a problem with that. And we have to remember too, the rest facility that's up there, we do have a rest facility at Roe Park. Unfortunately, there isn't one right at the pool, but I've been here 50-some years, and I can't ever, I don't remember that being open. Perhaps it was, but I don't remember that being open. So I don't think it's gonna be well missed. But it's also gonna eliminate them sheds there, where they'll have a storage facility at the park. The last thing I want to bring up, and this is important, I really mean how important this is, and I think the police department would agree with this. There are so many homes in this community, both Fort Montgomery and the village of Howland Falls, where emergency services on some of these calls are having a hard time finding an identification number on a home. Now, a lot of these homes that are in the village, and a lot of the homes, Charlie, you know this, that are in Fort Montgomery, you're searching for it, you're trying to look. And some of these homes, when you find them, access into the home is horrible. So we got to remember that a cardiac arrest all happens within 4 minutes. 4 minutes from when the pager goes off. So for everybody that's out here and listening to me on this, we have to remember you never know when you're going to have to call 4911 or 911. You never know when that's going to happen. So you should always make sure that your home is ready just in case. And I think it's very important, especially with the winter time coming up. It would help the emergency services out big time. I see Pat back there. He's been with the ambulance corps for a long time. I know he knows what I'm talking about. So that would help out, and I think all emergency services would appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's it.
Charlie?
Well, I will add to that. On a few occasions, I've been really impressed by the first responders from the police department who have arrived at emergency scenes, and they have been able to start oxygen, do CPR, and buy a little extra time before the ambulance arrives.
Totally agree with you. That's a great thing.
I was very impressed by that one team that responded to something at Wyant Green. Just a couple things. There is what appears to be an RV park operating down at the marina. It was mentioned at the last meeting. It is in violation. I spoke to the building inspector 2 weeks ago. He was having a meeting that did take place with Justin Ryder, the town attorney. And the purpose of that meeting was to learn how to do an appearance ticket for an LLC. Bruce has rewritten the violation, so that issue is being pursued. The old guard, the security fence is up, the well has been properly decommissioned, so hopefully we'll see some progress soon as far as building something up there. And there was an incident or an issue with a property owner who is selling her house, and the attorney for the buyer wanted a C of O, a certificate of occupancy. Apparently, there are occasions where records have been lost due to flooding, so that particular case has been resolved to, I hope, everyone's satisfaction. The building department was actively involved trying to come to a resolution. But I'm now aware, having gone through this downstate, that in some counties, they actually require a C of O every time a house changes ownership, irrespective of whether or not any work has been done. And with older properties where it's been in the same family for 60 years, they have what's called a letter in lieu of C of O. And I was wondering if that is permissible in Orange County and here in the village, and if that's something that we should make available in the event that other people have attorneys representing the seller that make this an issue.
I can certainly look into that. I'm not going to be able just to answer that off the top of my head. But I've certainly heard of that, and I'll check with Orange County. If the board is interested in something like that, it would require, every time there's a change of ownership, that an inspection be done and some sort of letter or CO issued.
I hate to do that because I know it's a real pain in the neck.
Letters required through a mortgage company, isn't there an inspection?
Well, an inspection is something different.
But they do tell you when you need to put a railing up.
Yeah.
That's a home inspector.
Right.
So a home inspector would go in and look at the property to see if there are any outstanding safety issues, for example, to advise the potential buyer. There also, the title company will call to ask if there are any violations, zoning violations, but typically they're not asking whether there's a C of O. A lot of these houses never had one. They're just, they're my house never
Pre-building
had a C of O
code.
ever. It was built in the 1850s.
Yeah.
So I know in Monroe, sometimes what happens is they'll list the house and it'll say finished basement, and turns out they never got a permit for the finished basement, so they have to rectify that before the inspector will give the C of O for that. And so sometimes that's kind of a little loophole that's clearly permissible because they did something in their house and they didn't get a C of O for that, or a building permit.
Or it was done before the building code was put into place.
Well, typically, it was done after the building code was in place. That's how they get sort of caught, so to speak. But what you're talking about is if someone sells their house,
And the buyer's attorney asks for a C of O. And that can be really problematic if there's...
That's an issue. It could stop you from selling your house. Usually, the general rule is, buyers beware. If there's a problem that doesn't get fixed, then they're buying that problem.
But I think it is worth being preemptive because if more and more attorneys ask for a C of O, it could be a problem for people who have a willing buyer for their home and not be able to sell it without ripping walls down to prove that it was done right.
Yeah, I know this particular case you're speaking of. She came to me actually last Saturday, downstairs. It's worked out for her.
but it could be a problem.
Yeah. So,
All right.
Okay.
We'll talk.
The board can decide what
Okay.
they want to do.
Thank you. Jim?
All right, so, got a couple of things. I'm not sure if everybody has seen the street lights that were installed on Main Street by O&R. They put in the LED lights starting at the gate, and they are just past the Park Restaurant. O&R put those in for free. They don't cost us a dime. They will save us money because they are LED lights. They also have been putting LED lights in other locations as required by law for the broken ones. So you'll see some pop up here and there.
But you said, I'm not trying to interrupt you, that if somebody puts a light up and changes one, an owner can say, hey, that's too much light. Is that correct? Didn't you say that a while back ago? Some of the LED lights, because they're so bright?
No.
No?
I guess an owner could complain to O&R, absolutely.
okay.
But I guess when you look at some of the lighting that's on the side streets,
Yeah.
there are strategic locations that way back in the day, they approved the lights that had more lumens because those are dangerous intersections. And that's why they did that. The LED lights, when they're installing the ones that we request, we try to keep them at the same lumens, so it doesn't affect that much of the ground. But what these lights do, it's dark sky lighting. So if you look down Main Street, you don't have that big glow above Main Street, but it actually lights up Main Street now. So that's what O&R is working on, and that's why they're scattering them throughout. I'd like some input from the people out there, whether you like them, whether you don't. We are going to continue doing the Main Street corridor first. If they do like them, and if the budget allows, possibly next year we could find a couple of dollars in there to purchase a few more to expedite the process down Main Street, because like with the new businesses that are coming on Main Street, this is going to shed a new light on our Main Street. So please feel free to contact me or drop a note off at Village Hall. Let me know how you like these lights so we can continue moving forward by saving the village with these LED lights on our electric bill. I got some information from the EPA again. This is about healthy indoor air. October is Healthy Lung Month. You can go to their website. They talk about a lot of the pollutants that are indoor problems, such as radon, VOCs, secondhand smoke. These all trigger asthma attacks. They affect us, and they affect your children. So if you want to go to that site, they have so much information, too much to talk about here tonight, but there's also two other options, and you can hashtag Healthy Lung Month, or you can hashtag National Respiratory Care Week. Two great places to get extra information. The DEC, this is fall foliage season. Everybody knows that. So when you're going down the road, everybody's stopping or slowing down. I just caution everybody, just be careful. The trees are beautiful. If you want to take pictures, find a safe place to pull over. The DEC has two different websites out there. It's New York Fall Foliage Report. You can click on that and they will give you updates on the general locations where the best leaf peeping is. Also, I Love New York Fall Foliage is another great place to find some of that information. They also noted that even though the fire danger is very low based on the wet season that we've had all season long, still be careful with any campfires out there, any barbecues that you're having, because we can prevent the forest fires that are out there. Another great thing that's out there, and this is especially for the 5th graders, they have their annual Arbor Day poster art contest. 5th graders in New York, they're invited to showcase their talents and to help increase the public awareness about trees. You can submit this artwork, the fifth graders, all the way up to December 31st. Their theme this year is Habitats for Bats, shagbark hickory. That's where the bats love to live. So there's a little hint. If you have a shagbark hickory in your art, I'm sure that will help to put you at the top of the list. So I please encourage all fifth graders to join in that celebration and showcase why these trees are important in our daily lives. Talking about recycling and some of the things that you were talking about, Mr. Lizzie. Can you recycle that? Small appliances. That's what a lot of people ask. So again, on the DEC website, they talk about how, where, when, if you can reuse them. Should you can you repair them? Can you donate them to the local thrift shops, Salvation Army, whatever? That helps to keep it out of the trash and out of the landfills. Anybody that would like more information on that, please contact me, or you can go right to the DEC website. Again, a plethora of information from the DEC. Another thing, I'm looking for anybody who would like to get involved in a program. This program is for tree planting. Hudson River Net is looking to, and they have a lot of grants out there, to provide us with trees along our stream corridors. They're native trees and shrubs, and they would help in the prevention of erosion of the stream in the stream banks. So if anybody wants to help do that, it would be great. Just contact me. This is their 11th year that they're doing that. It's estuary trees for tribs, and so far they have planted over 50,000 shrubs and trees on 108 acres of land on 300 different streams in New York.
Just to interrupt you again, up at Roe Park, who's taking all of the roots out on that one end there where the trees fell down? We normally don't have...
Weeping Willows?
Yeah.
Who's taking the roots?
Who's doing that job there? Yeah.
The highway guys.
Wow. They're doing a great job. I mean, you go up there, what tedious work that's got to be pulling them roots out. But are they going to replant something?
No, I've asked, I'm glad you brought that up. I've asked the Highland Falls Beautification Committee to recommend what that area can look like now that the trees are down.
Yeah,
Because you can do a lot there.
Oh, yeah.
We can make that look very, very pretty.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Would you make sure that the editor gets all that information, please?
Sure. That's all I got.
All right. Public comment.
Martha Allward, Highland Falls. First, Mayor, thank you for this new initiative of welcoming the businesses. It's something long overdue. We got good people coming. Now, if we could only get the building inspector to do his job, which is making things safe and helping the people building and not inhibiting. And I have not had a personal issue. I've been in construction in my previous life for 20 years. All people aren't bad. They got to be encouraged instead of having roadblocks constantly thrown in their path. And that's just stuff I hear from friends in the village that either want to upgrade their homes or possibly some businesses.
The building department is not customer friendly.
No, it is not, and
You're-
it's...
And we've been talking about that for a long time up here. And I don't know what to do to make a change other than the complaint needs to go to the town board. Because it is not
That's my
customer
next- That's my
friendly.
next stop.
Yeah, you need to go there.
And lest you think I'm just here for kudos, because welcoming businesses is fantastic. We've needed it for a long time.
Yeah.
And I like the thought of going back to old businesses.
Oh, yeah,
and-
as soon as I'm done with the
and,
new.
You know,
We
coming
need to
up the
help them.
street.
They
I
need
mean,
help.
Janet Dutt for years has had the best window in town. It would be fantastic if everybody could do
Yeah.
something like that.
I highlighted her on the board last meeting.
I
was
wasn't able
beautiful.
to make the meeting.
Yeah.
And now my broken record, thanks for putting off getting in with Round Out. We don't need another delay. I don't know how long that contract is good for. We want consolidation, we want to at least talk about it, we have no committee for it, and you're putting a stop to it again. And I know I'm not the only one saying that. Let's get something moving. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. Next. Ned, you have something? Whoever wants to get up.
Yeah, go ahead.
Last week, the guy of Village Highland Falls last week, on September 26th, I sent 2 emails. One requesting that this board meeting be held at Town Hall. Eric had to walk up those 3 flights of stairs. Not fair. I also requested that on the agenda be put consolidation, the cell towers, and the wastewater treatment. None of those were even addressed.
If you had, okay, I'll let you get done.
I believe that by refusing to answer the questions of the taxpayers, or to add these onto agenda for public discussion where our questions can be answered, you're blocking the elected officials' accountability, which is the checks and balances, which is what our government is based on. And you're leaving the taxpayers with no choice but to continue to file complaints with the appropriate entities to deal with this and to seek legal counsel.
Thank you. Ned, you want to? Oh, I just want to give you one comment. I could make a lot of comments, but I'll just give you one. Tonight, the town board's having a meeting. Go ahead.
Thank you. Can the board advise the members of the public what is the cost estimate for the repair of the damage to the village sewer plant resulting from the recent fire?
I don't believe, and the board can, other members can answer as they want. I wouldn't be able to do that yet because I'm waiting for the insurance company's final review and a letter from them. So I actually know the damage. I don't think so that's what I'm waiting on. That's what I'm waiting on, which is this book right here. This has a lot of notes and minutes and many things, meetings that were held from December of 2018 to today. And once I have more information that I'm waiting on from not only the insurance company, but the insurance company is one, I will put this all in chronological order and it'll be a public statement read. So I can't give you, you're asking for the dollar number, the dollar amount of damage. I can't give you that yet. I can tell you what I think was damaged, but that won't mean a dollar amount. There was some damage. You know that.
When would you anticipate that number would be available?
I don't know. I'm hoping this week I get a letter from the insurance company. Not that they said I would be getting one, but I mentioned to the clerk tonight, earlier, that if nothing comes by either Wednesday or Thursday, I think we need to make a phone call and see where they're at. I want them to realize the ball is in, there's a couple balls here. One of the balls is in their court. So,
has the village engaged a contractor or an entity to determine for the village's purpose the approximate amount of damage?
no, we can't even move anything, which is another issue. Not a big issue. We can't even touch anything, move anything, and we wish that we could start to clean up.
Just one other short one. You had mentioned about the board meeting with representatives of the cell tower corporations. Will those meetings be private or public?
Ned, this process is, which I have never done before for a cell tower. I will go by the law. If there is a meeting that has to be held that can be held in executive session, say the contract. That's an executive session item, Elise? But as far as the meetings as the board goes down the road, yeah, there'll be public meetings. First of all, there has to be. That's the law. So I'll just leave it at that. That's the law. Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah. And yes,
Laura Milsom, 105 Center Street. I brought this up before, but I've never, ever seen it addressed in any way, shape, or form, but it kind of goes to something that you brought up, Merv. I see multiple cars parking on single-family homes' grass. It's a violation in the village to park on the grass. It causes the grass to be torn up, and then the dirt goes into the sewers. We all know about the problems we have with our groundwater. I don't think it helps the situation any to have that happening, but I would question why there's 5 cars in one driveway having to park on the grass if it's a single-family home. So that's one thing that I think speaks to the issue of multiple families living in single-family homes.
you have other items?
I do.
All right, let me address that. 5 cars, 10 cars, 1 car parked on grass does not attribute a drop of dirty water to our water system, as you just indicated. So that has nothing, one has totally nothing to do with
No, I
the other
mean,
one. Now,
the mud is going into the water, down the drains. So you're saying that's a separate issue?
yeah, stormwater.
Yeah.
Stormer. Elise, cars parked on grass, which I see myself, not on a paved, whether it's paved or stone or whatever, which I think could be our code, is a police matter or a building department matter. That's what I thought. So here we go, for the second or third time. I would love to see you go to the town board and ask.
As are multiple residences
Right.
where they're not supposed to be,
Right.
or accessory apartments where they're
Yeah.
not permitted.
Okay?
But also additionally, I will do that. But the argument was made a couple weeks ago about the dog excrement everywhere, about putting more signs up and everything. So I would argue that perhaps the parking on the grass is that people don't realize that it's a code, a violation code. I would also argue that pretty much everybody who owns a dog on the planet knows that you're supposed to pick up your dog's crap, right? I mean, I just think that's a known factor. So the people that aren't doing it are doing it purposefully. And I think that if you're not carrying a bag with you, then clearly you have no intention of picking up after your dog, right? So I would like to see something where, you know, if you're out walking your dog, you need to have bags on you, period, end of story. Because right there, you're not picking up after your dog if you don't have a bag. I watched someone, I was coming out of the farmer's market when I finished work the other day. He walked his dog from the alleyway between the park restaurant where the apartments are, straight across in front of the church, let his unfixed brown dog take a major dump and turned around and walked away. I can identify the guy, didn't get a picture, but I know who he is, so I'll find him. And I don't know what the process is for reporting people that do that, but I'll get him.
If I can interrupt, I did talk to Sergeant Torpy about this, and for a while, the police officers were approaching dog owners on that very subject, do you have a bag? And giving them a warning that we were cracking down on it. So I think for a short period of time, that was really helping. They need to go back to that.
Okay.
You know what amazes me though, like even if you go up to Roe Park, there's 4 boxes up there. Excuse me, 3. There's 3 boxes up there, and you still see it.
I know.
And there's bags in the boxes, and you still see it.
That's what I'm saying, it's purposeful.
It's unbelievable.
So I feel like it needs to be enforced harder or more efficiently or something, because it's just, you know, you've got this beautiful artwork in the middle of the road, and people are walking over there, and then they're stepping in dog waste, you know, so it's not really a great experience, and it's everywhere. So that's just, it's just I don't know what to do about it. I don't have a solution, I'm just bringing it up. And the other thing is, I got in the mail from Orange County, It says you can report drug dealers anonymously to them by calling the Orange County District Attorney's Crime Hotline, which is 291-2106. Living on Center Street, it's great that there's been these arrests. There's a whole bunch more drug dealers on Center Street that have not been arrested yet. So if there's people in the community that do not feel comfortable reporting it locally, then there is another option for you. Okay, thank you.
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said if there's people that aren't comfortable reporting it locally,
Well,
because it might not be anonymous.
folks should be very comfortable calling one of the most community policing departments in Orange County, which is the Village of Highland Falls. There is the hotline. If you wish to remain anonymous, you can, which I would think maybe most people would like to be that, but there's the number. If you know of a drug, something with drugs or anything that any crime that you think is a crime, call that number right there. And what I want to ask you is, do you still have all those cameras the village gave you for your house?
Mhm.
Is there are they working?
Yeah.
So all those times that you saw stuff going down from your house might be on there?
I don't know how long they last for, but it's still going on.
So the
It's not
cameras are
like-
working?
Yes.
Was there 3 or 4?
There's, of the villages, there's 2.
Okay, so we'll make arrangements to come and look at those.
Sure.
If it's possible.
Yeah, that's
We'll make
fine.
arrangements. Okay.
I just like to add, though, in the comfort level that some people have with the local police, we had a situation where we had drug dealers living next to us, and one of the officers told them I was actually on my stoop and heard it for myself, told the drug dealers who kept reporting them. So that's why I'm offering this as an alternative.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Anyone else? Yes.
Pat Flynn, One Muller. Just real quick on one thing that you were said. You talked about the lights. You said O&R, they were free, but then you mentioned that we need to pull some money together so we could purchase more. I don't know what we have to purchase if they're free.
Well, what O&R offers is a 2% program. So they will put in every year 2% of our lights for free. They also offer the up to 20% if we choose to buy the light head, they will install them. They will still own them, maintain them, and if they break, they will fix them. But that's our option, or we can just wait for the 2% program to proceed. I believe it's $160-some per light, which could expedite the process, but we don't have to.
Okay. If you could, you just mentioned per light, if you could get us a number for what's been done and what the projection is, because I know on the other program that we almost were ready to put in place several years ago, that was ready to be put in place, that was shelved, we were looking at $75,000 to $80,000 a year in savings. But it would have had to cost about $200,000, which a separate group, similar to O&R, was paying for. So the village wouldn't have spent a dime, and within less than 3 years, that money would have been paid off, and that savings, we would have seen $75,000 to $80,000 per year. And that was an official study by, I'm trying to think of the group, but it's a New York State. NYSERDA, thank you very much.
So, Mr. Flynn, could you enlighten the village on, because you were the mayor for 4 years.
Yes, I was.
How much did we spend per year on electric, the village?
That I'm not sure.
Okay.
But I do know, I did have the numbers. We did go over, that was about 3 years ago.
Okay.
We went over all the numbers then. Bob Mellon was in charge of the project, and those were the final numbers, and that's why we came in. When we did ask about the project, when I left office and you decided not to go with it, there really wasn't any follow-up as to why. I know you didn't want to own the lights, but that's what a majority of the communities are doing now. And when you say O&R, we're going to see a savings from O&R, O&R still owns it. They can charge us whatever they want. They can say, we're going to save, but they still have full ownership of everything. They don't have to, they could say we're going to save, but that we actually saw the savings because we would own the lights and it'd be different. I don't need any comments back now. If you want to put something together, that's great. I just have to get 2 quick other things out. I see the sign, one team, one community. That's awesome. Except, again, as mentioned, I don't see anything working toward that. It just keeps getting put off and put off. A year and a half in office, we had something in place to consolidate one of the departments, and it was totally put to the side. And the study showed all the benefits. And if we're really working towards one community, I don't see us actually working towards one community. I see us talking about it, putting it off, talking about it. And this is exactly why many places have not done it, because there's always one or two people that will not benefit from a consolidated community because they want the power. They don't want to lose the power of a small village. And because of that, we will be overtaxed again and again until we actually do come together as one community. The numbers and everything are so basic, it is not that difficult. And it is not that difficult to see. I've sat down with a couple dozen different people from the community, showed them all the numbers, showed them what we were doing. But the problem is you have a few people, and that's not just here, it's everywhere over the state, and that's why they're offering billions of dollars for communities to consolidate, and nobody is taking advantage of it because you have one or two people in power that will not allow it because they don't want to be out of power. Also, you have mentioned working with businesses. I think that's awesome. But I would love to say that I hope the board is working with the chamber with working with those businesses, because I feel the last couple of years, we have a very, very strong chamber. It has come a long way. There were 2 different groups, 3 different groups, 4 different groups. Jim Maudlin bought this thing together, pulled together, and has really strong people willing to donate their time to make our business community better. But again, under the one team, one community, we need to work together. It's not helpful to have 6 different groups saying, oh, I'll show it, I'll do it. We are too small. We're not Newburgh. We're not Albany. We're too small. 6,000 total in one community. 4,000 here, 2,000 there. Lastly, this past weekend, I lost some money because something is not clear in the village, and I think it needs to be looked into. I asked for it to be on the agenda, and it's not. I understand why. I run a entertainment business, as most people know, and one of the pieces of our entertainment business is inflatables. For years, now, before there was an issue between me and somebody else in the community, inflatables were allowed. It wasn't a big deal. Now that there's an issue, the last couple of years, there's been an issue. Our insurance has not changed from 20 years to 15 years to 10 years to today. But now there is an issue with inflatables. Yes, the last couple of years, 1 or 2 flew up in the air, never around here. That's throughout the country. Insurance has risen on on entertainment companies like mine to pay for it. So when I was mayor, I called our insurance company because there was a lot of misconceptions. What happens? Because I was always told our insurance company won't allow it. That is not true. That is a lie. Our insurance company does not cover it. Well, then we shouldn't allow it. Well, that's up to the board, because no community's insurance company covers it. I've called 12 so far in Orange and Rockland. None of the insurance companies, I was told by our insurance company, that they're not aware of any municipal insurance company that covers inflatables. What it is the inflatable company has to carry the proper insurance, at least $1 million policy, and then it is up to the board whether or not. Now, those 12 communities that I called, none of them don't allow inflatables in their community. They all allow inflatables. They do fundraisers, they do events. Inflatables, just so we know, are about children, and that's why I love doing them. I have donated over tens of thousands of dollars of services to this community just in the inflatables. And I love it. I love being able to do it. I was unable to provide free inflatables in the last several months. Not because we have a policy, because we don't. We do not have a policy about inflatables. But because they're afraid, because someone said, no, you can't do it, they'll get in trouble.
Hold on a second.
I'm almost done. I'm almost done.
Gina, is this
correct? I have it right here. I'm letting him get done.
Thank you, and I appreciate it. Just,
Yeah, no,
I'm almost done.
finish.
And I'm not going after
I'm
anybody.
sorry.
You're fine, you're fine. I'm not going after anyone per se, but one, my business is being hurt, excuse me. Two, I can't give free things to the kids. That's hurtful. Where every other community in the area does. And our insurance company specifically mentioned, because the last time I talked to them was when Nyack was having that massive slip and slide throughout their whole community. She referenced that. It is not covered by their village or town. But the company that has it has the proper insurance, and the board has no problem with that. All I would like to see is to be able to provide our community with the same that other communities are provided. We already have so little compared to other communities, especially in the entertainment area.
Okay.
I'm almost done, but I appreciate it. And the problem this weekend especially was, and this is it. So the people went and grabbed it from where I store them. I didn't realize they were having it at Roe Park until I went there afterwards. But they were told by a policeman, somebody had called the mayor, and I was not here for this, this is what I was told. Somebody called the mayor, and we're here to let you know that you're not allowed to have this inflatable for insurance purposes. Now, that to me would have been fine. That would have been their job. But according to 3 different people, and this is another issue I have, and I'll be talking to Brian Allward, the police commissioner, about a complaint, is that this officer that was there at the park then started to defame my character to the people holding the party, telling them that I'm trying to get one over on them and take their money. And I know better. That is totally unprofessional. And that is my comment.
On that, you see Brian.
I am going to see Brian, but I'm still allowed to make a comment on it. And I will see Brian.
Thank you.
And I thank you, and I thank you.
So, let me address a couple of things. No, you should stay for my comments. If somebody in the room would relay this to him. Number one, the consolidation, it's too bad that he's mad. The consolidation, and especially so you all know, what was given to them was
This consultant agreement, and I'll ask the board. Mr. Howard, when did you get this?
Tonight.
Mr. Leslie, when did you get this?
Tonight.
So I don't think it was fair for us to vote on something tonight without reading it.
Okay.
And that's why I asked that
Okay.
we just table it.
No, it's not one page.
It's not-
one page.
Mrs. Howard,
And we just got it tonight.
There was 7 pages.
Why wasn't what on the agenda?
Why was it on the agenda? It was prepared.
I don't know. Does it matter? I don't think so. Okay. Number 2, the police department report that this gentleman that just got done screaming was given to Roundout, and when I got back into office, I think it was July of 2017. We had a meeting right here in this room. There's folks that were in this room that were here. I think the entire board was here. I can go back and look at the minutes to see who was here. Was a, what would be the word? Is the chief over there? Chief, can I look at you a little bit? Can you stand over here? And so what was given to him, you were here at that meeting, was not a watered down department, it was like wholesale slashing department. Now, I don't believe that the people in the village of Highland Falls want that kind of police department. And so we had worked on that for after that meeting, we worked on it. There was meetings with Tim. This is when you could still get them. I'm using the company that the last administration hired. I didn't hire this, and I actually don't even think that there's a company anymore. The guy that helps us works for the county of Ulster, not Roundout Consulting. And the things are said that just aren't accurate. That's too bad, but that's politics, I guess. On September the 25th, last week, September the 26th, I left messages to Roundout, which I don't really think there is anymore, but there's a phone number. What are the next steps as far as the police update? Well, today's October 1, I still haven't heard back. I called the state where we got the grant. He's having the same problem again. I say again because there was 4 full months no one could get these guys. 4. And by the way, so the public knows, the extension that I asked for to this company who I don't even think is in existence anymore, but all I have to do is sit up here one night and tell you we got rid of Roundout. And I know what I'm going to hear. A delay. There's no delays. Excuse me. You had your time. I want the proper information to get out there, not misinformation. And wherever that information leads us, that's where we'll go. I'll keep calling and we'll keep seeing what we got to do. But I mark everything down. If anyone thinks I'm sitting downstairs not taking care of this folder amongst every folder I have, then you don't know me. Sorry. I'm sorry. I work damn hard for this community and always will. We'll see what we can do with Roundout. This is what I wanted to say. 4 months we couldn't get them. We're not paying for those 4 months. That's what I do good. We're not paying for those 4 months that we had no representation, that we were paying the consultant for. And he knows that. Believe me, he knows that. And I think that the new agreement that he wants us to sign reflects that. It should. We're not paying for it. Then I had to call the state. This is not easy. And if you think even this kind of a phone call is easy, I'm sorry, you don't know government. I had to call the state to get an extension.
They're the ones who give you the money.
Exactly. You don't have to tell me why. Well, yeah, I don't need to know why. I had to call the state. But if you think that was like just to pick up a phone call and then hang up, oh, we got it. It doesn't work that way. So believe me, this is being worked on. As far as, and there's a lot more information about the lights than what was yelled at up here. That was one of my first, I got a folder downstairs like that. All right? Foil it. Miss, foil it. And we'll let you know how much it costs. Like that.
Yes.
Okay? And this here, one team, one community. I'm gonna hang these signs up. I have over 20 of them. These signs came from the 4th of July. These are our theme signs. This was a theme one year. 9/11, we were there last time you were all here. That was a theme right after 9/11. I have 18, 19 more of them upstairs. These are themes. What this means, which he won't understand, one team, one community. This is West Point, Highland Falls, Fort Montgomery, and Bear Mountain. I can show you that. Not tell you, I can show you. That's what this is. And by the way, the relationship with West Point was under the ground when I got back into office. After I had it on cloud 9, it was ruined. I don't make comments up here that aren't true. Whether you like my comments or not, I can say it doesn't matter. Of course it matters. The relationship with West Point was in the toilet. I don't make those kind of comments unless they're true. I have it out of the toilet. And now I'm trying to lift it up where I had it before. Because that's where it should be. And it got ruined. There's nothing further. I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Wait, one thing though.
Go ahead.
I want to talk about one thing. And I'm just.
That's okay. Oh!
This bounce house.
Oh yeah, right here. I'm sorry, can I just do one more thing? It might answer your question.
No, go ahead.
Okay, bouncy houses. Nobody's trying to do anybody out of business. Believe me.
That's my concern.
Nobody's trying to do that. You might not remember, the 4th of July didn't have bouncy houses. We always had 2. And believe me, I wanted them. Because I know it's a hit.
But what?
The kids like it. I'm going to read it to you.
Go ahead.
Here's our insurance company. And listen, for all those that left the room, know this. Know this. They know what I'm going to read. How do they know it? Because it was shown to them and told to them. We can all make comments up here, well, it wasn't like that 2 years ago. Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. This is from the the Village's insurance company. The carrier, this is from the agent. The carrier has advised that inflatables are excluded from Village insurance. Excluded. EX. It didn't start today. I have more to read. This didn't start today. This is the way it's been for years. And we turned our head. We closed our eyes. We're lucky. We're lucky. No, listen, it's my turn now. That's what he said. The Village, if the Village were allowed inflatables, excuse me, let's have some respect. If the Village, you're kidding me, aren't you? If the Village were allowed inflatables and there were a lawsuit, you see where I'm reading, right, Mert? Not making words up. That named the Village, your policy would not extend defense or indemnity. That's what it says. Dated, what's it dated, Murph?
October 1st, 2018.
Okay, this is not 2018. It had to be 18, Ned. I don't use a year ago stuff. Listen, this is not new on October 1st, 2018. It's been that way. That's why the 4th of July didn't have bouncy houses. That's why National Night Out didn't have bouncy houses. You want to have a bouncy house in your yard, in your driveway? Go ahead. But we can't. Meaning we can't. Meaning not we, the community can't. And kids get hurt. I love it. I love to see those 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds in there and they're just bouncing away and I'm thinking, man, they're going to be tired soon. They're going to go to sleep soon. This is going to be good. Man, if they were to hit their heads, oh my God. So, you have anything else on that, Murr?
You just want to read it?
Yeah, go ahead. And then the third page too. Sure. Sure. Yeah.
Can I just ask a question regarding?
No, it's I'm sorry. No, listen, I want to tell you something. 5 minutes after I left the last meeting 2 weeks ago, 5 minutes, I was on the sidewalk, didn't go anywhere. And this pertains to what, can you ask another question? No. These are the rules for the meeting, but I will tell you, there's one, even though I haven't crossed it out, and I'm not going to cross it out. 5 minutes after the meeting 2 weeks ago, Ned, I told people, and I told the editor back there maybe 2 days later when I saw her, I'm not going to enforce that rule anymore. You get up and you ask a question, if one of us have the answer, we're going to give it to you. I would like to think most times we do. But if there's a time we don't, believe me, before the moon comes out tomorrow night, you'll have the answer. So I just want everyone to know that. But the rest of you speak once, I allowed more than 3 minutes, it's kind of hard to tell people that's it. Nobody likes to hear that. So that's that. I'll take a motion to go into executive session on litigation. Motion by Charlie, is there a second?
Second.
Seconded by Murr, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you so much.